Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to the Project 1999 server, playing Everquest, here with our host, Relinar, who is now, well, he's still 16. And before I begin, I just wanted to say my thanks for all the encouragement with respect to the YouTube comments and also the in-game tells. We are here in the northwestern corner of East Commons at the Orc camp, and this is where I've been hanging out. And I think I saved some room. Did I not? Just seems a little odd. Yes, because we've been collecting these Death Fist Orc belts. Death Fist / belts. Now, you can sell these for about 3 plat each, or you can turn them in. I plan to turn these in because I need that actual faction for the next stage of our journey. So, before we start, actually, while we start fighting orcs. Now here we have a set of 4 orcs. There's actually a 5th orc that comes up over the hill and then heads off in this direction towards those buildings over there. I've been here leveling 13, 14, and 15 and then turning in belts, and the belt turn-in 4 at a time is still very good over in West Freeport. So usually I am very careful about how I pull here, but now that I'm 16 I don't care, so we're just gonna smash them all with it. So here we go. And am I out of arrows? I'm out of arrows. Okay. No problem. Again, this is in... Now see, I only got 2 out of those 4 because those are too low level to care about me. They're fraidy orcs. So, let's see, while we're fighting orcs, and hopefully getting my last belt before some turn-ins, let's go over some accounting, because I have made a lot of sales. Firstly, I have sold about 5 full sets of banded. Now that's just small banded. That is 5 full 13-piece sets of banded. Also, I sold 3 visible sets of banded in some various pieces. I sold a stack of zombie skins, and I sold about 4 stacks of bone chips. That totals out about 950 plat. So I had about 1,500 plat total, and what I did was I went out and I bought this beauty. The Venomous Axe of the Valium Brood. Yes, I had my eye on this baby for a long time, and this is what I really want. And given that I have mostly all set with armor at the moment, I didn't feel bad about splurging on this axe here. I love this because this proc effect procs at level 1. So let's see if we can get the proc here before we get our next belt. It's a nice 85 damage poison proc. And here's the Wandering Orc. We'll pick him up. Come on, proc. So, given that the whip I had was primary hand only, I've had to re-enlist the short sword of Asterisk. This is the sword that you're given as a brand new player, and that's the only weapon I have to go in the offhand slot, so I'm back to using that. Generally, the next purchase I'm going to get is going to be what's it called? Defiance, I believe it's called. It's a really nice offhanded weapon with some dex on it. So that is going to be a nice pair for the axe, given that it's going to give me some more dexterity for some proccing action. So another thing to note is around the same area you can see these orc pawns running by. They're just basically a little tiny version of the orcs. And they drop the Orc Pawn Pickaxe, which is also another quest you can do. And the cool thing about that quest is that you can do it pretty early, because you're fighting at level 1 orc pawns. But also, it gives a lot of experience. A lot of these quests, well, not a lot of them, but some of these quests have been revamped. Some of the new quests have been revamped in the Velios timeline. Ah, here's our last belt, I think. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and turn these in. So that Orc Pawn Pickaxe quest and these Defiance belts are a pretty good quests to do. And, do I have an extra one here? Oh, we already got that guy. Alright, so I do actually have because I'm in East Commons, which I like because I can spam all my wares. This is basically, I've been fighting these orcs and trying to sell banded and all my other wares, all in East Commons, and you can also get buffs too. So since my inventory is now full of these belts, oh, I have one space full more. Let's not be hasty. So these orcs will spawn every 6.5 minutes or so. So at 16 I can smash mouth it. It doesn't damage my health too much. And then just wait for the respawn. So let's do that. Did I loot all these? No, I didn't loot that one actually. Loot that one and that one. Maybe an Orc Pawn will walk on by, so maybe we can see that action. While I'm waiting, I might as well do some fletching. Did I open components? I did. Oh, I don't have the room for fletching. Duh. So, in this downtime is where I would do something like this. And in this way, I've sold some visible sets, I've sold some full sets. I'm pretty happy with the sales actually, and I don't know why that is very loud. Let's turn that down a bit, shall we? Now when I've gone through here, on other characters, I've actually seen people wanting to buy small banded. Unfortunately, most of those times I'm just running through, so I don't have time to switch over. But people do buy this still, and 100 plats, a good price still. I get a lot of requests to make large and medium banded, and I have to, unfortunately, tell those people that I don't have the molds for those. So they can either run to Oguk and buy the large molds, or they can buy the molds themselves in Freeport, and they don't seem to be willing to do that, so I don't blame them. So I've been selling small banded only. Another thing I've been thinking about is getting a set of Teardown cultural armor. I've talked to a few smiths, and a full 13-piece set is going to run me about 4,000 plat. Now that sounds like a lot, but I mean, we spent 1,200 on this axe. So we can continue doing our activities, you know, selling the bone chips, selling the banded. The next section of our journey is going to be, I've actually did the research, so I have a couple of these already, is going to be farming cutthroat insignia rings over in the next zone over, in West Commons, because again, you can sell these for about 2 plat each, or you can turn them in for quests, and I will show how to do that. That's for the next stage. So I basically need one more belt, and then we're going to go do these turn-ins. You can see I just hit 16, so it's going to be interesting to see how good the turn-in is still. I'm going to bet it's going to be something like 8% for a 4-belt turn-in. That's actually still pretty dang good. So they are well worth farming them yourself or selling them, and people do want to buy them. The caveat, of course, is that the turn-in does affect some factions that you may not want to injure, really. Ooh, see, ooh, there's the proc. Look at that, 85-point damage. So there's basically two ways you can turn these in. I will not take a loss. Sorry. So there's basically two turn-ins you can do for these Death Fist belts. There's the good guy turn-in and the bad guy turn-in. Now, I'm a Dark Elf, I worship Innerok, I don't care about faction, so I'm going to turn them in to the evil humans, which of course gives you good faction with the evil humans, the corrupt guards, but bad faction with the paladins and clerics. So, I mean, it's a toss-up for what you want to do. But the experience is good. Okay, here's a pawn, and he does have a pickaxe. So basically what you do is you collect 4 of these, and then you hop on over to West Commons, and there's like a little hustle toll booth area, and you give them to Guard Valen, and then he gives you experience. And that's sort of a setup quest for the Cutthroat Insignia quest, which is in that same zone. And you can see that I am not getting experience for most of these now, and that's fine by me. I'm just farming belts. Sorry, Sun Kingdom. So yeah, the Teardown culture armor looks amazing. It's got some strength, it's got some dex on it. Oh, there's my last belt. Excellent. Let's head over to West Freeport. Unfortunately, it does not have stamina on it at all, but I'll take the strength and dex. That's going to be fine for leveling up to about 50 or so. I think I'm going to get the full 13-piece set. I'm just going to save up for that. That will take a while. In the meantime, I think I'm going to work on making myself a set of fine steel plate, which is a clear upgrade to banded. Much higher AC than banded. And it's got slightly more armor class than a set of bronze, but it's far less heavy. So fine steel is pretty good armor, but it has no stats on it, so people don't like it. But the cool thing about it is you can dye it, and maybe I'll do an episode about getting some fine steel and dyeing it a cool color. I think there's about, I don't know, a dozen or so colors you can dye it, different shades of reds and greens and blues, and I think there are some grays and blacks as well. So maybe I'll do an episode on that just for fun. So that should hold me over until I can afford a full set of cultural. Fortunately, I have Spirit of Wolf, otherwise this would be a very long trip. It's just one zone, but it just feels like a long time. It's actually not. Now at 16, we can start the next phase of our farming / leveling, and that is going to be in West Commons fighting the Cutthroat Bandits. What are they? I'm trying to remember what they're called. The Dervish Cutthroats, I think they're called. And that's actually a pretty popular camp. There are several other Dervish camps throughout Antonica. But I like to stay in West Commons. If that camp is taken, then I just usually go further west towards Kithiko Forest to the Orc camp, which is a higher level and does give experience. than the camps here in East Commons. Golden Diamond Mask. One day we'll have a set of resist gear too. But, baby steps. The next step is to save up 500 plat to replace the short sword with Defiance. Now, someone had asked me what happened to my banded when I'm selling. I usually either sell what I'm wearing or I leave it in the bank if I don't plan to sell because I am over-encumbered selling other stuff. Another question I had was, how did I level from 10 to 13? And that was basically gathering components in Nectulos, doing the zombie pyramid bear cycle that I've explained previously. And then from 13 to 16 I did right there in East Commons at the Orc camp. These Death Fist pawns I think also carry picks. No, this guy doesn't have one. But I'm going to kill him anyway. Now, here are the Freeport Guards. You can see I am still apprehensive in their view. I need to get that up quite a bit to be able to turn in the cutthroat insignia rings. So that's why I'm turning these in instead of selling them. So you just come in here, go up the stairs, go into the back porch. Should be this way. All the way over. And here we are. Captain Hazard is what we want. Now, of course, like I said, I am evil. So if you're not evil, you want to give these to the good guys. So let's see, how much experience do we get for a turn-in of 4? I'm at 3%. Wow, that's loud. So 6%, a little less than I expected, but still, I mean, overall, that's not bad for the effort required to collect these. You can turn in one at a time, but you can also just turn in 4 at a time. You can see here, I am getting good faction, well, faction increases with the Freeport Militia, and the Coalition of a Trade Folk 3. That is the Freeport Militia of the Corrupt Guards in Freeport, and this is their associated merchant guild. And I'm getting negative faction with the Priests of Mar and the Knights of Truth. That is the human cleric and the human paladin guilds, respectively. So let's just finish turning these in and see where we end up. Game is not bad at all for fighting mainly a bunch of green mobs. Literally green because they're orcs. Basically, we went from about 3% to about 65% of a level from turning in just these few belts. And you can see I did a little place testing for the next segment of our little starter guide here, so I'll do that next time. Until then, safe travels.